I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? Let's get into TNA Rebellion from April the 11th, 2026. This was an okay pay-per-view from TNA. We got a couple of returns. Return number one, EC3 is back, which is great. He was on this show. And return number two came in the form of Casey Navarro. Casey Navarro's been gone for about a good maybe 8 months. So they ended up breaking First Class up, I want to say around September, October of last year. So he's been out for a little bit. Actually, no. I want to say probably maybe around the summer. I want to say maybe around like August. So he's been out for a good while. So I'm glad that Casey Navarro is back. But the problem with TNA that still infest the promotion, and that is the roster. They have got to get a new roster like nobody's business. There is no reason as to why we need to see Mike Santana and Eddie Edwards in the fucking main event. The main event should have been Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander, if we're being honest, right? Eddie Edwards has no business being in the main event. None whatsoever. None. But it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and get into the show. I did not watch the pre-show. The system, they cut a promo, basically, don't care. And we had a rematch from Sacrifice, which was Ryan Nemeth, who defeated BDE once again. So, whatever. Who cares about that? Moving on, this leads us into the show. So, Charity Ivana, she sung the national anthem. She did a really good job. That was good. So, moving on from that, this leads us into the first match of the night. Leon Slater defeats Cedric Alexander to retain the X Division Championship. This was a very fun match. Cedric worked very good as a heel here. He ended up doing a bunch of eye pokes and eye rakes and stuff, which was great. There was a spot where Leon did his famous splash over the top rope, which was great. The dive that he does, I love that. Really good stuff there. Cedric ended up hitting a brainbuster off the top rope onto the turnbuckle. He threw Leon in the ring, hit the lumbar check. Leon kicked out. I thought that was going to be the finish, but Leon got his foot on the rope, which was great. That brainbuster was nasty. And then Cedric went outside the ring. He collected his thoughts briefly, looked at the X Division title, ended up kissing it. He brought it in the ring as he was about to use it. The referee snatched the title away. Leon ended up hitting the Styles Clash, followed by the 450s. The Swanton 450 for the 1, 2, 3. So this is fine. This makes sense. The crowd was super into this. I'm a fan of both guys. I've always been a fan of Cedric Alexander. I just wish that he went with the system, if we're being honest. But Leon Slater retaining was the right decision. Who ends up dethroning Leon Slater? I have no idea. I couldn't really tell you. That might go to Trey Miguel, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Because I think they're going to end up slotting Trey Miguel into the title picture. Because I think they're going to more than likely move up Leon. They're going to probably put him in the main event title picture, the world title scene, basically, the main event scene. And I think that would be great. I think he's ready for it. And they've been prepping him for a while with that spot. And I think he'll do well in that spot, right? Because I think he's going to be the one to probably dethrone Mike Santana more than likely. So there is that. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Mike Santana. He had a backstage interview with Gia Miller. He talked about the world title match later on tonight. He talks about how he regained the title on the debut episode of TNA Impact on AMC. So Alicia Edwards comes in and she tells Mike Santana that she knows Eddie Edwards better than anybody else, and that they need to talk. Whatever, I don't care about this at all. I don't. Moving on, this leads us into Frankie Kazarian versus Elijah. Frankie Kazarian defeats Elijah. I don't care. Didn't watch this match. I do not care. Why are they still pushing Frankie Kazarian? Why is he still on this show? Why? Him, Moose, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Eric Young, move on from those guys. Make those guys producers. Get those guys out of the way. All those guys are gatekeepers. They're fucking gatekeepers. Damn. Moving on. This leads us into Arianna Grace and Stax. They're backstage. They're talking about the Knockouts World title match. Stax says he has a plan for the night and whispers it in the ear of Arianna. And then she giggles like a little schoolgirl and says that she loves it. I like that. Really good. Moving on. Agent Zero versus Moose. Agent Zero defeated Moose. He wins via the Sky High. This match was pretty okay. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Agent Zero, don't really know who he is. He's got a great look and a really good build. He didn't really say anything either. For whatever reason, this Order 4 that came out and got involved for whatever reason. And they ended up beating up Alicia Edwards, and then this allowed for Agent Zero to hit the choke powerbomb onto Moose for the 1, 2, 3, and then that was it. I don't know why they needed to have Order 4 out here, and same thing with Alicia. It makes no sense. Like, why is she Moose's manager? Makes no sense. I don't understand that shit. All right, moving on. This leads us into the Hardcore Country match. Before the match took place, the personal concierge showed up. He made fun of Cleveland. So he said that he begged TNA management to never go back to Cleveland as his place sucks. He says the only good thing that comes out of Cleveland is Ash by Elegance. Then he calls Mickie James, ODB, and Taryn Terrell a bunch of farm animals. So then, you know, it is what it is. that was kind of funny. Moving on. Before the match can start, Ash gets on the mic. She screams like a banshee for saying that her music needs to be cut. She's got something to say. She tells the fans to shut up. She says that she's not a mark, and she repeats it. So, you know, there's that. Whatever. Moving on from that, the Elegance brand, Ash, M, and Heather by Elegance, they defeat Mickie James, Taryn Terrell, and ODB. This match was pretty okay. The crowd was in this. It was very comedic. They ended up throwing the new guy, Mr. Elegance, into a jar of pickles. ODB got a cooler and put his face into the jar of pickles. They put a small pickle suit onto the personal concierge, George Iceman. They ended up bringing, trash can lids in. They ended up using lollipops as a thumbtack spot, which was, so dumb. I'm like, what the hell? That's total WWE television. Total WWE television. What the hell are they doing? It got a chuckle out of me. I laughed a little bit with that one. I was like, what the hell? It's kind of stupid. So it is what it is. So towards the end of the match, Mr. Elegance, he got involved. ODB ended up using some salad throngs into the legs of Mr. Elegance. He sold it very well, which is kind of funny. And then M by Elegance, she came in and she sprayed ODB with hairspray in the face. She ended up hitting a DDT for the 1, 2, 3. This is fine. Makes sense. So, Tommy Dreamer and Carlos Silva, they come out. He wanted the heels to leave and everything else. And basically, Tommy Dreamer and Carlos Silva, they announced that in October, ODB is going to be going into the 2026 TNA Hall of Fame. So, you know, there's that. It is what it is. So, she said that she was not expecting it, and without the fans, there wouldn't be any ODB. And she said she loves everyone in the back, and then that was it. Okay, that's fine. It is what it is. I don't care about this. I really don't. I really don't. But, I mean, it's nice. It's a nice gesture. It really is. She does kind of deserve it. So, you know, it is what it is, honestly. That's fine. I mean, who else are they going to add? I mean, they've got a good 6 months to, you know, complete out who they're going to put in there. So, you know, there's that. All right, moving on from that, we get a vignette from Elena Black. She didn't really say much of anything. She's just keeping her eyes on the Knockouts World title and everything. So, that's fine. Whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into AJ Francis. He makes fun of the Cleveland crowd. So he talks about his LeBron James shoes. He says that he's tall, dark, and handsome. He's the LeBron James of pro wrestling. He calls the fans losers, and he trashes the Cleveland Browns. He said his life got better. His life will get better after he leaves Cleveland. So Nick Nemo shows up, and then he's introduced to the ring by, he's accompanied to the ring by Bernie Kosar, which is great. Nick Namath defeats AJ Francis. This match was a little bit too long. So towards the end of the match, Nick Namath ended up hitting the Danger Zone, his finish, off the top rope. And AJ Francis kicked out at 2, which was weird. That should have been the finish, but it wasn't. So, AJ Francis was about to bring in a steel chair and use it. Then, Bernie, he got involved and everything. He had a stare down with him. Casey Navarro, he showed up towards the end of the match. And then Nick ended up getting the win via a Danger Zone. And Bernie hit AJ Francis in the back with a steel chair. So, you know, it is what it is. They did a little bit too much. This match was a little bit too overproduced, if you ask me. I mean, it was a good match, you know. AJ hit a really good spear in here. It calls it the TFL. Casey Navarro being back is great. But to me, they did a little bit too many bells and whistles, if you ask me. Again, the Danger Zone off the top rope should have been the finish. It makes no fucking sense why that didn't end the match. But it is what it is. Whatever. Moving on, this leads us into Arianna Grace defeating Xia Li, aka Lei Ying Li. So Lei Ying Li, she almost had the match. One, she ended up hitting the Warrior's Way, and then Xia Li gets involved. She puts Arianna Grace's foot on the ropes. Then Xia attacks Xia Li, and she throws her into the steel steps, throws her back into the ring, and then this allowed for Arianna to hit a knee in the back of the head of Xia Li for the 1, 2, 3. This is fine, I guess, but again, we kind of figured this was going to happen. I don't know why you would turn Xia Xia Brookside heel. It is what it is. She got a good reaction from the crowd and from commentary, so she got a really good reaction. Xia sold it well. She was very shocked and everything, so that was great. I'll give this some time. I figured they were going to turn Xia Brookside heel anyway. They kind of hinted at it. They kind of gave us, hints and breadcrumbs. So, I figured it was coming, and it happened. And it was executed beautifully, if you ask me. So, there is that. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Eric Young. He shows up. He gets on the mic. He said that he's tired of being here. He calls out EC3. He thinks that he belongs in this world. He calls him a Nepo baby. And his Aunt Dixie's not here to defend him. Eric Young says that he hates Cleveland. So, basically EC3 shows up, gets a really good reaction, takes his jacket off. He's still ripped and everything else. And he has crazy hair as per usual. So, he punches Eric Young, clotheslines him over the top rope, takes his shirt off. He says that he's back. He says that he challenges Eric Young to a match on AME EC3 this Thursday, and then he says that he's from Cleveland, bitch. And then that was it. Okay, this is fine, I guess. But why is Eric Young the gatekeeper of TNA? Again, EC3 should be in the world title picture. They probably will end up, putting him there in due time, but it is what it is, whatever. Moving on, this leads us into a video package. It's going to be in Boston for Slammiversary. And it's going to take place on June 28th, which is kind of weird. I thought that Slammiversary was always going to be in July. I have no idea why they moved it from July to June, but I don't know. That's kind of weird. Whatever. Moving on. This leads us into Mustafa Ali versus Trey Miguel for the TNA International Championship. Mustafa Ali defeats Trey Miguel. Tom Hannafin said that Mustafa Ali has not won a championship in 2 years. So I kind of figured they were going to switch the titles here. This match was pretty good. As per usual, there was interference in this match. Order 4 got involved. And this allowed for Mustafa Ali to hit the 450 splash for the 1, 2, 3. Because the Great Hands got involved. One of the guys hit Trey Miguel in the back of the head with a helmet. So, that's fine. It is what it is. Whatever. Alright, moving on from that. This leads us into Xia Li. She's, crying backstage. She's distraught. G. Miller wanted to get, a word from her. So, it is what it is. I don't care. This is fine, I guess. Moving on. Then we get a vignette for the Undead Realm. Father James Mitchell and Rosemary. So, Rosemary tells Abyss not to let Father Mitchell manipulate him. Tessa Blanchard, she's shown in motion, walking in the realm still, so that's fine. And then, basically, Abyss and Father James Mitchell, they both reconcile. They go over the past and everything else and all that jazz, which is really, really good. And, they go over their time in TNA and how they dominated, back then. So that's good. So Rosemary, she smiles and everything else, and Abyss leaves. That's fine. That's fine. So, good stuff there. I like that. Moving on, this leads us into the Hardyz versus the System. Brian Myers and Bear Bronson. The Hardyz lose to the System. Oh, my God. I didn't even watch this match because the System was involved, because I'm not a fan of Brian Myers. So, Bear Bronson got the win. He beat Jeff Hardy, and that's how he won the tag team titles. That's fine. It is what it is. They want the Hardys to be in the chase position, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Moving on. Alicia Edwards, she apologizes to Moose. Moose says that he needs to take her to a hospital. Alicia says she needs to be here for the main event match. And asks Moose to get more ice for her injured ankle. Okay, whatever. Moving on. This leads us into the main event of the evening. Mike Santana defeats Eddie Edwards. He retains the TNA World Championship. Didn't watch this. Didn't care. Moose got involved, basically. I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't. So, it is what it is. The crowd said F the system in his match, which is great. You know, fuck the system. So, whatever. I don't care about this at all. I feel bad for Mike Santana. Where's Steve Maclin? I mean, Steve Maclin's probably still, you know, concussed a little bit. So I'm guessing he's undergoing some protocol changes, I guess. We should see him soon. So, yeah. Overall, though, this was an okay pay-per-view. I will say this. $40 is way too much for TNA Plus subscribers to pay, because I am a TNA Plus subscriber. And I didn't watch it via that way. So, I will say that. I don't know why you have to pay $40 for pay-per-views. That's dumb. For TNA, that's dumb. It's not that serious. I feel that the way the product is, it should be probably... if you have a TNA Plus account, it should be free, because you're already paying $10 a month for it. But if you want to access a pay-per-view, I think you should pay maybe $15 or whatever. Maybe. But not $40. What the fuck? Like, are you AEW? But I don't know. But it is what it is, man. Again, this was an okay show for the most part. But again, the problem with TNA is they need help. They need help from a roster perspective. And hopefully they can get it. But what did you guys think of Rebellion? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.